I told you guys Applied Digital was going to run when I made my last video, and it has moved over $3 north since that video came out. If you missed the Palantir move from 15 to 180, the AMD from 105 to 180, you missed my SoFi call from $6 to 24, my SoundHound from $3 to 24. If you've missed these plays and you don't want to miss another opportunity, it's here right now. We're going to talk about APLD, Applied Digital. Strap in. This is going to be a good one. Let's go. Shares of the digital infrastructure provider Applied Digital jumped 15.6% in the afternoon session after the company announced plans for a new $3 billion AI data center campus and received a significant price target increase from analysts. The company announced its plans to break ground in September of 2025 on Polaris Forge 2, a $3 billion, 280 megawatt AI data center campus in North Dakota. This new facility is designed to support the increasing demand for high-performance computing and is expected to begin initial operations in 2026, reaching a full capacity by early 27. This ambitious expansion underscores the company's aggressive push into the AI infrastructure space. Adding to the positive sentiment, Craig-Hallum raised its price target on Applied Digital to $23 from $12, maintaining a buy rating. That is double the price that it's currently at right now, or not quite, but double the price it was when I made the previous video, which is a lot. That's 100% return if you had purchased last week, meaning the stock is extremely overweight right now because you can get it $6 to $7 under the current analyst rating. They also maintained a buy rating. The firm noted that the recent private transactions in the data center sector suggest that the company's stock was undervalued. Well, that's a no-brainer. Other analysts also expressed bullish views, with Lake Street and Roth Capital raising their price target to $18 to $24 respectively. Applied Digital shares are extremely volatile and have had 101 moves greater than 5% over the last year. But moves this big are rare, even for Applied Digital, and it indicates this news significantly impacted the market's perception of the business. The previous move we wrote about was about 6 days ago when the stock gained 5.9% on the news that key inflation report met expectations, bolstering hopes for a Federal Reserve interest rate cut, while a separate report indicated rising optimism among small businesses. The July Consumer Price Index CPI report showed annual inflation holding steady at 2.7%, aligning with forecasts and increasing the probability of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut to over 94%. Lower interest rates can stimulate the economy by making it cheaper for businesses to borrow and invest. Further bolstering the confidence, the National Federation of Independent Business NFIB Business Optimism Index rose to a 5-month high. This is crucial indicator for business service sector as its companies cater to small and medium-sized enterprises. The combined positive data fueled a broad risk-on sentiment where investors favor economically sensitive sectors, leading to gains across IT services, staffing, and manufacturing. Applied Digital is up 107% since the beginning of the year, and at a share price of $16.19 has set a new 52-week high. And investors who bought $1,000 worth of Applied Digital shares 5 years ago would now be looking at an investment worth $269,754. Now, I did buy some shares of Applied Digital when it was $5 back in March and April of 2024, although I didn't buy very many. And it's been a rocky road for Applied Digital until very recently. Now, I still hold those shares, although not very many of them. I'm going to be adding to my position in Applied Digital slowly but surely, and dollar cost averaging along the way. And this company, if they continue to do what they're doing right now and achieve these goals that they've set out to achieve, could get more analyst ratings as they beat and crush earnings along the way. It is very potential and probable this company could make it to $100 or $200 share price. They're in the data center sector. Data centers, big key for AMD, Taiwan Semi, NVIDIA, Microsoft. We also have Google, Meta. This is where the hyperscalers are going to rely on companies such as Applied Digital. As we have seen with previous instances with SoFi, Palantir, and many other stocks, they always move their way up and they fill and fight to break through the entire area, which we call a supply zone, which is way up here around $31 and $30, right up here. And there's a small supply zone right in here at $20. And what they typically are is when a stock reaches a point where there's bad news or something going wrong, investors start selling, the stock comes down, they buy it back up, and anyone else who didn't sell, they start selling. So there's a lot of supply up here. But then what happens is the stock will then run like it is currently, And when it reaches this area, it'll come up, come back down, come up. Then it'll start heavy selling like this. Then it'll come back up, more heavy selling. And there's going to be a lot of resistance in this area, because if we draw a box across for the supply zone, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to go right up here on the top of this green candle, and then we measure it down here to the body of the green candle. This right here is the supply zone. We go to the 1 hour chart. We'll see what that looks like. Just make sure everything lines up. Yeah, there's a lot of supply here. This is supply zone right here. Turn this red. There we go. Supply zone. We'll lock this in place so it doesn't move. There we go. And we'll switch over to the 4 hour chart. So we can see the supply zone starts here and we're down here. We still have $14 to go. There is another supply zone, which I think is very strong. And I'll show you guys where that is as well. There's a lot of supply in here. This wouldn't be considered a supply zone, but this very much would. So we actually have two supply zones, and this one would be in here. So you can see this is a supply zone right there, and it moved up. And what happened was everybody who sold off in here is good, but anyone who didn't, they're having to sell off now. So they did that. So they're selling here, 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 and here. So this right here is a supply zone as well. And so it needs to break this. And we're moving this all the way across here. It broke the previous supply zone down here. So that's what happens to supply zones. Once the stock breaks through it, they now become support and demand zones. Anytime the stock dips down to $8 or $9, it'll get bought up. I don't think it's ever going that low again, but that's just, food for thought right there on how the stock market typically moves and how technical analysis is. Anytime you have a resistance that's broken, it becomes new support as long as break of structure to the bullish side happens. So we've got two supply zones, essentially. Most importantly, this one here needs to be broken. It's the most important one, actually, and it's at $20, $21, which is coincidentally, or maybe not, right below where the upgraded price is on Applied Digital, meaning the analyst ratings are between 18 and 24, which is pretty much smack dab right in the middle of where this supply zone is. So we're going to see this stock come up, and it's going to push up pretty strong till it gets to about maybe 18, 19, 20, right about here. Maybe it pushes through, and then it's going to pull back, and there's going to be some consolidation like this, and maybe it drops a little bit. There's going to be a lot of selling once it gets here, and it needs to push through. Once it does that and it pulls back like this into the supply zone, something similar to this, and then starts moving up. Once this bounce here happens and it starts to come up, we are now free and clear for the most part of this supply zone. However, because of the upgrade and because of how strong Applied Digital truly is, and because of the sector that they're in and breaking ground and all of this news, for the most part, this doesn't really matter. Because if you buy Applied Digital right now and they break ground and everything goes the way they're supposed to go and they meet expectations on earnings, this isn't going to matter. And in a year from now, the stock's going to be $25, $30 anyway. But this is just to help you guys understand what's likely to happen. And as you can see here, this is an uptrend. This is how stocks move. This stock is very probable to be $25 by the end of the year, or $30. There's so much growth potential here right now. This is one of those moments where you might be asking yourself, should I get into this stock? And I'm not a pumper. I don't like pumping stocks. But if you look back at all the stocks that I've given you guys on YouTube over the past year and a half, which I'll announce, SoFi at 6, Robinhood at 15, HIMS at 10, Affirm at 30, Wayfair at 25, AMD at 105, Nvidia at 110, Palantir at $15. Go back and look at these stocks. I even gave you guys Applied Digital 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago when it was like $12 or $13, and now it's 16, and now they're breaking new ground and more positive news has come out. So I'm already right on Applied Digital. This has already happened. It's going to happen even more. And this is how my students and I make money in Discord. I told them to buy XYZ when everybody else was pumping PayPal, and it crashed, as you guys can see right there on the screen. Everybody on YouTube pumping PayPal. I gave the trade to my students right here on XYZ, and you can also see the chart. I have students that printed tens of thousands of dollars in XYZ. I also told my students to take Meta. You can see the trade there on July 18th, July 28th. And then you can see the profits. I have students that made $10, $20, $30, $40, even $60,000 on one trade. This is what I teach students to do. Technical analysis with my proprietary AVP, double fib, defib, and stochastics double RSI. I show my students how to do this in the Discord. And I'm showing you briefly right now what is going on with Applied Digital. For just 1 second here, if you're having trouble understanding this, having trouble understanding what I'm telling you, or the stock market. Maybe you're losing money, which we've all been there. Let me show you how to turn those losses into wins. In as little as 30 to 60 days, I can show you how to turn it all around. The link to join Discord is below, and I would love to help you turn those losses into wins. Just remember, procrastination is a weakness. It's time to take action right now, and let me show you how you can do that. The link to join Discord is below if you want to make the profits like you're seeing on the screen. So it drives me every single day is getting up and helping others just like you. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a listen to what my student Josh had to say. Out to you the most when you originally signed up for the Discord and the coaching really gave you the incentive to want to join? And do you still feel the same way now? And what would your message be to others that are, in the same situation?
You were more focused on like the actual strategy of things as opposed to, pushing a particular stock or trying to almost trick people into how they can get rich. I'm also a masterclass student as well. And that's where I really took things to the next level. For anyone who's thinking about joining, is anyone can do this. It's just really putting in the work and the effort to meet Corey halfway, but he will definitely get you there. I started with about $300,000 portfolio. Initially saw about between 60 and 70,000 within my first 6 weeks, which I was very excited about. So now I'm really, really excited to share that I've grown that $300,000 portfolio to well over 500,000. I'm definitely reaping the rewards now. Don't wait. I honestly can't thank Corey enough.
If you want Josh's success story to be your success story, then let me help you grow your portfolio. Click the link in the information box below to get started with Discord, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. So with Applied Digital, I would be buying shares right now. I'd be adding to your position. I'd be selling cash secured puts to dollar cost average. Right now, selling puts in the $9 and $10 range is kind of too far out of the money to make any premium. So what I would do is I would look here at the structure. We can see structure was officially broken, meaning this is now support. You go right below that to the previous support. $14 puts would be a very strong position. $14 to $15 puts would be great. Me personally, I'm currently in $14 and $15 puts going out to September. A lot of premium. I'm adding shares, and this is how we do it because this stock is extremely bullish. They just got upgraded twice and crushed earnings, and when we get interest rate cuts, this stock's probably going to $18 in the next week or two, maybe even quicker, but it's very likely. Now, it's not guaranteed, but this is a very strong stock, and right now it's red hot. Now, I'm not a big fan of buying at the top, but because they got upgraded to $24 and this is $16, this is not the top. Way up here is, so there's still plenty of room to go, especially long term and especially this sector. Looking at their EBITDA, they have finally trailing 12 month, they have positive EBITDA. Total revenue is positive. Looking at the balance sheet, they do have some net debt of 500 million, but they have enough assets to cover liabilities. Their equity is strong, not the strongest, but it's strong, and they're growing. Cash flow is in the negative. This needs to turn around though. When we look at price to sales, we look at the market cap of 4.27 billion. We divide that by 215 million, giving us just under 20 price to sales, roughly 20, which is not incredibly terrible, but it's kind of subpar to average. And in this sector, considering how long this company's been operating under this new direction, this is kind of not really fundamentally strong at this point, but it does indicate previously they were kind of doing something wrong. But the mere fact that they turned everything around at this point and are now doing what they're currently doing, the price to sales is a little bit non-important, non-existent. We have to see what happens going forward, see if their revenue increases, because, and if the trailing 12 month goes up to 300 million or 400 million, then their price to sales is only about 8 or 9, which is really good. All they have to really do is have 2 good quarters in a row and their price to sales will be cut in half. And then it makes it, instead of being subpar average, being pretty darn good. So they have the ability to turn this around right now. And you always want to get in before the move happens. And unfortunately, that's the hard thing to gauge, is when stocks are actually worth what you're paying for them, the move has already happened. You got to buy stocks that are right on the cusp of making good moves and where it's cheap enough. Unfortunately, at this point, that was kind of back when the stock was $5 to $8, maybe $10. The move has already started to happen. But if you're selling put options and your dollar cost averaging and holding long term, you will not miss out on the move. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you want to grow your portfolio, make the profits you're seeing on the screen, I would love to help you. The link to join Discord is below. Remember, what you put off today for tomorrow, someone put off yesterday for today. Don't do that. Take action now. Let me show you in 30 to 60 days how we can change everything. Link to join Discord is below. I'll see you in the Discord real soon and on the next video. One love, fam.